to the temple of Shri Radha Gopinath. We are in the last week of this most auspicious Kartik month. Before we get started, let's first chant one Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the core of our hearts, blessing all these wonderful devotees today who graduated out of Bhakti Pravesh course. May I request everyone to please close your eyes, raise your arms, and let's chant one Hare Krishna Mahamantra, invoking the blessings of their lordships Shri Radha Gopinath, Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani, Shri Gauranitai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, upon all these wonderful devotees and their respective teachers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. Jai. Srila Prabhupada says, a man is a creature of habits, and habits come by practice. One should have a very pure heart and a very clean habit. Externally, maintaining cleanliness is very easy. We just need to take bath. Internally, cleaning oneself and maintaining that cleanliness is very difficult. But the easiest way to cleanse our heart, Srila Prabhupada would often say, is by taking a mantra bath. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can cleanse our heart. Just like how we clean our body, we can also clean our heart. So it will be free of depression, free of any impurities, free of anger, free of any negative qualities which we may carry since time immemorial. When Krishna speaks to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, Krishna describes about the qualities of mind. How many of you in this room think you have full control of the mind? How many of you think, okay, I see only one hand going up. Maybe you didn't understand the question properly.
No harm in thinking properly.
How many of you think your mind is under control half the time? Come on, you don't need to be that humble. Half the time I'm saying half hand going up. Come on. Okay, good. How many of you think most of the time your mind is not under your control? Now I see all the hands going up, including me.
Both hands.
Don't worry, we are not alone. When Krishna speaks about the qualities of mind, Arjuna responds back. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad dridam tasyaham nigraham mani vayoriva sudushkaram. Arjuna gives 4 qualities of our mind. Chanchalam, mind is very restless. He, mana, Krishna, pramati, turbulent. Being restless means it will be here sometime, goes there. But then you will think, okay, from here it has gone there. It should be peaceful there, right? No, turbulent. Grass is always greener on the other side. While it's this side, it will complain. Going that side also, it will complain. How many of you have this experience? Sometime, I haven't even finished the question, wait. Sometimes we think, our mind will be tempted. Should I do this? Should I not do this? All right, even if it is bad for me, let me do this. Your mind will convince you. And then you proceed with that call of the mind and you end up doing it. After you do it, guess who is the first person to complain? Your mind. Your mind will say, stupid, why did you do this? How many of you have this experience? Always have that. Chanchalam, restless, pramati, turbulent. Restless means it won't stay in one place. Turbulent means it won't stay in one place, and wherever it goes, it will complain from there. Balavad, very strong. Dridam, very obstinate, stubborn. 4 qualities he says. Who can repeat them? At least one? Chanchalam. Wow. I'm very impressed. I was going to ask you in English at least. Okay, start with Sanskrit. Chanchalam. Those who know Bhakti Pravesh students, you are banned from answering this question. Chanchalam. Okay, restless. Any other quality?
They complain.
They complain. Okay.
They are very strong.
Okay, one at a time. They are very strong. Balavad. They are. Sorry, what? Turbulent. Very good. Okay, obstinate. Very stubborn also. So these 4 qualities Arjuna says, Pramati Balavadridam Tasyaham Nigraham Mane Vayoriva Sudushkaram, means, oh Krishna, if you ask me to stop the wind, I'll be able to stop, but stopping my mind, impossible. How many of you here agree with Arjuna? Okay, stop the wind, go outside and do. Stopping the wind is difficult, stopping mind is even more difficult. Arjuna says, stopping the wind, maybe there is a possibility. Mind, forget it. Okay, it's here now. Suddenly it will be in India, in America, and then back in your hometown, back about tomorrow's job. You know, it just keeps going here, there. Travels faster than light. It just keeps going on and on and on. So when Arjuna says this to Krishna, Krishna first of all acknowledges Arjuna's understanding. Krishna says, Asamshayam Mahabaho. Asamshayam means without doubt, O mighty armed Arjuna. Mano Durnigraham Cha. Without any doubt, mind is very, very restless. I totally agree. However, if you follow 2 steps, you will be able to control it very easily. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chagrihiyate. Abhyasena means practice. Vairagyena means detachment. So 2 solutions Krishna gives. One is vairagya and second is practice. Coming back to the point which Prabhupada says, man is a creature of habits. Any activity that we take, if we do it repeatedly, and they have done research in that, they say if you, let's say you want to wake up early in the morning, if you can do that 17 days, anything, they say it becomes part of your habit. And then over a period of time, that same habit, when you keep doing it repeatedly, habits become our nature, second nature as they say. But developing habits is not easy. This month we are celebrating the famous incident of Mother Yashoda tying baby Krishna to a grinding mortar. So when baby Krishna was tied to that grinding mortar, he crawls with that, drags it. As he keeps pulling, the grinding mortar gets stuck between 2 trees, 2 Arjuna trees. Krishna is still more stubborn. He is also pulling. And as he pulls, he uproots 2 trees. Those 2 trees were originally the sons of Lord Kuvera. You know who is Kuvera? The treasurer of demigods. So as he pulls, by his tender touch of those 2 trees, both the trees get liberated. And 2 divine personalities come out of that. They are the 2 sons of Kuvera. What are their names? Manigriva and Nala Kuvera. When they come out, they offer some beautiful prayers. Vani Gunanu Katane Shramano Katayam. Hastau Chakarmasham Manas Tava Padayorna Drishtiyam Shiras Tava Nivasa Jagat Praname Drishti Satam Darshanestu Bhavat Tanuna. Vani Gunanu Katane. They say to Krishna, oh my dear Krishna, we have wasted whole lot of life, lot of time. We wasted in some sense gratificatory pursuits, and because of that we got cursed to be these 2 trees by Narada Muni. But now, because of Narada Muni's mercy, we took your darshan. From now on, may we engaged in your service. And they give different ways how they would like to engage in their service. Vani gunanu katane. May our tongue be engaged in glorifying you. Shravanau katayam. May our ears be engaged in hearing about you. Hastaucha karmashu. May whatever activity that we do using our hands be in your service only. It may be cleaning the temple, it may be serving prasad, it may be eating prasad. Trust me, that's also a service. You like that service? Hastaucha karmashu manas tava padayorna. May our mind be engaged in remembering you. Smrityam siras tava nivasa jagat praname. Nivas means the abode, the temple. Smrityam shiras means may our head be engaged in bowing down. So whenever we come to temple, we bow down to Krishna. You will see, sometimes you notice devotees bow down. As soon as they enter, they bow down there. They come to Prabhupada, they bow down. They come to Krishna, they bow down. When they come inside, when they bow down first time, that's for all the devotees, including you. You may not feel like you are a devotee, but you are. It's too late. You are in the temple. And then we pay our respects to Prabhupada, and then we come in the front and we pay respects to Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. Smrityam shiras tava nivasa jagat praname drishti satam darshanestu bhavat tanunam. And may our eyes be engaged in seeing your devotees. Surprise, surprise. Simply you come to the temple, even before you come in front of the altar to take darshan of Radha Gopinath. As soon as you enter, when you see some devotees in the car park, you will feel, okay, I am at home. And then when you come to temple inside, you feel, many of us, you feel like, yes, this is really good. Only place where we hate crowd is in Prasadam line, correct? Just be honest. There we would like it to be empty. We don't want to see anyone. Scriptures give different examples of different creatures, how they get trapped by misusing the power of the senses. If you analyze it, why are these two sons of Kuvera offering these prayers? Our connection to the external world is through the senses. Sense of eyes, hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, so on and so forth. Our mind cannot see outside. Our mind receives that information through the senses. If the senses are trained properly, they will bring in proper information. Mind won't get tempted. But if the senses are not properly engaged, they'll feed in wrong information, lusty information, mind will get agitated very much. Scriptures give 5 different examples of different creatures, how each one of the creature falls down. They die. Or they get subdued through each one of these senses. For the sense of sight, the example is given of a moth. When it sees a light, even a fire, it will rush towards it, thinking that, wow, this looks so attractive. When the moth rushes into the fire, what happens? It gets charred to death. Gone. This is for, example is given for somebody misusing or somebody is falling trap to the sense of sight. Applies to humans as well. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, first time when we start to get attachment on something is when our eyes see and we start to crave for it slowly, and then we meditate and then we get so much attached to it. When you go shopping, how many of you have this experience? You actually go to the shopping mall to buy one handkerchief. And you know what happens after that? And you end up bringing a bag. Why did I buy? You don't know. It's as if you are in a spell, correct? You just go buy and everything. What is this? Happens. Or you look at a latest iPhone, latest anything. When the eyes see, mind gets hooked onto that, and then dhyayato, we start to meditate. Vishayan Pumsa. Vishayan means a sense object. So when the eyes see that, moth actually goes in and then it dies. Likewise, sense of hearing, example is given of a deer. When a hunter wants to catch a deer, they'll play beautiful music. And the deer, without understanding the impending danger, it will close its eyes and it will sway its body happily. We also do that many times. I always give this example. Especially if you are a student or you work, you have some deadline, you have so much work to do, you don't know where to start. Guess what you do? You lie down and sleep. Correct? Because it's too much. Let me just sleep. What is the logic there? But we do. Okay, so the deer dances swaying to the music and then they'll come and catch them. Again, example of someone or something that gets trapped because of misuse of sense of hearing or because of unbridled sense of hearing. Likewise, sense of taste. Example is given of a fish. They throw a worm with the hook, fish will very innocently come and grab it. Likewise, 3 senses we covered. Sense of smell. If you remember your lessons in biology, how many of you remember a pitcher plant? Okay, that looks like a pitcher, like a jug, but it emanates very beautiful fragrant smell. Insects get attracted. Bees come, as soon as they come inside, the layer is slippery, they touch and that's it, they get trapped, closed. Sense of smell. Sense of touch is interesting. The way how they catch elephants is, first they would train a female elephant. Training female elephants is easy. Male elephant is difficult. They have big tusks. Usually they are very rough. So what they do is they train female elephants, and because male elephant has this proclivity, this inclination to touch, as soon as it sees a female elephant, it will chase after the female elephant. Because the female elephant is trained, it will keep running, chased by the male elephant. But then they have a trap set up, which the female elephant, she elephant know. So it will meander around the trap and it will go. Male elephant comes, walks on it, and guess what happens next? It's now get trapped in a pit. Now how they train? Now they bring another male elephant which is already trained. And in the full sight of this trapped elephant, they will tell that elephant, pick up that log of wood. And that elephant will pick up the log of wood. Put it here. Then it will put it there. Then they'll feed him happily nice grass. Now this male elephant which is trapped will look, okay, so if the elephant lifts the log of wood, he gets nice food. All I have to do is, I also need to do the same. They will starve it. So it will be suffering with thirst, suffering with hunger, but then the induction course will happen during that time. They will train by showing the already trained elephant. And by the time they pull this elephant out of the pit, training program is over. It can run away, it won't run away. It's already programmed. It can actually tell them, grass is already there, it can just pick up and eat. It won't. It stays there. If you go to South India, some temples, how many of you have been to South India? How many of you have seen elephants in South Indian temples? Sometimes you will see they have this chain wrapped around one of the legs of the elephant, right? They say the way how they train those elephants is when the elephant is a baby, small elephant. At that time they have that anklet which is a chain. That in turn will be tied to another chain attached to a pole. So now baby elephant is like a prisoner already tied to a pole, right? Baby elephant will try to pull. It can't move, correct? Because it's already tied to that pole. It will try 1 day, 2 days, first week, second week, third week. After few weeks, the baby elephant is already programmed. As long as I see this chain tied to my leg, I cannot run. Now, when the trainers actually know that they have trained the baby elephant enough, at that time they will untie the elephant, still keeping the anklet chain alone. Now it can run. But the baby elephant will look at the anklet, will think, too difficult, I can't run. And it will grow, still thinking the same way. So even when the elephants are big, huge, humongous, They won't tie them to the pole anymore. All they will have is like an ankle belt, they'll tie one around that feet. As long as it sees that, it will be convinced, it's too difficult, I can't run now. Practice. Not only man, every creature is made by practice only. So when we study the scriptures give lot of vivid practical examples how each one of these senses, they pull us down. But we have these senses, we need these senses. So question is, how are we going to use these senses to control our mind? How are we going to use these senses to practice bhakti? So if you take the process of bhakti that we follow, according to scriptures, the name of this process is known as Vaidhi Bhakti. Bhakti which is based on certain rules and regulations. Rules means Dharmo Rakshati Rakshata. If we take responsibility for following some rules of bhakti, because of us following that sincerely, those rules will in turn protect us. Just like if you drive your car on the road, as long as you follow the rules, you are safe. Even though on one hand you may think, I'm being very restricted to this lane. Why should I follow this? Let me just speed up. Do you think there is every chance for you to lose license? We can. Do you think there is every chance for you to cause an accident, harming yourself and others? Yes. There is every chance for you to be pulled out of the road, actually, probably for next 6 months, 1 year. In some instances, your license may be permanently cancelled. On the other hand, if we follow the rules, it gives a certain kind of freedom for us, freedom with which we'll be able to drive the car forever in our life. Correct? So following rules is not all that bad all the time. Same way, when we lead our human life, this human life comes with certain responsibility. With power comes responsibility. How many of you have heard that before? Where? Spider-Man movie. Correct. With power comes responsibility. Scriptures say, especially Mahabharata, it says 4 activities are common for both humans and animals. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithunam cha. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Humans can do something more than this. Because human can be trained. But human life is a very responsible position. If let's say there is a cat and the cat dies, cat will always take a birth which is higher than the level of cat. Let's say cat will always become one level up. Let's say a dog is there. And let's say a dog dies, dog will always go one level up. Let's say as a cow. When a cow dies, guess what it's become? Humans. Prabhupada says, if somebody is a human, in the past life, all likelihood there is 3 possibilities. Likelihood only, which means more often than not. Most of the times you can take. If you come across people who are nice, gentle, sattvic, most likely in the previous life, Prabhupada says they are cows. How many of you think you are in that category? Doubtful. Okay, option 2. If you come across people who are very passionate, very energetic, and they are restless in many ways, then most likely, Prabhupada says in the previous life, they are either lion or tiger. How many of you think you are in that category? I don't see most of you raising hands. There is only one option. If you hear that, you will regret. Better you put your hand up now. And the final option is, if you see people who are lethargic, lazy, let me ask you now, how many of you are in that category? Now I'll predict what your past life is. I know half of you are scared now. Prabhupada says, according to scriptures, if we are lazy, lethargic, most likely we were monkeys. But the point, coming back to the point, if Any of the lower creatures, they die, they will always get a higher birth. Human life alone is very responsible, because once somebody comes to human life, there are many possibilities now. You can either in your next life be born as a human, or you can go elevate yourself to become one of the demigods. You can become Indra, Chandra, you can go all the way up to Brahma. Shiva's position nobody can take. Who was Shiva originally? He is Shiva now, he will always be Shiva. Nobody can take Shiva's position. Other than Shiva, all other demigods' position is open. You can become the next Indra, you can become next Brahma, no problem. You can become next Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Kuvera. You can become any of the demigods. That's possibility only. That's the second possibility. Depending on what kind of Shukriti you gain in this life. That's second possibility. First is you remain as a human, take birth again as human. Second is you become one of the Devata. Third is you can glide down to lower species. If you do something bad, it is given in scriptures, if somebody is addicted to eating meat, most likely because of the karma they inflict upon other living entities, Krishna would award them something which will be more conducive for them to eat meat, which is they need more canine tooth basically, right? So then you will go back to previous life again, lion and tiger. Or I spoke about three possibilities. There is one more possibility that's there, which is what we all should be striving for, which is what Krishna wants us to achieve, which is what scriptures time and again repeat. And that is, we can break out of this cycle of birth and death and go back to spiritual world. And there we can be with Krishna 24/7. How many of you would like to be with Krishna all the time? How many of you are still undecided? Okay, let's chant one Hare Krishna Mahamantra, expressing our desire to Shri Radha Gopinath. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, now the goal is set. As they say, devil is in the details now. How to achieve that goal? Enroll in Bhakti Pravesh course. That's my pitch here. When we come in contact, to practice Bhakti alone is very difficult. How many of you have heard about Chanakya, famous Chanakya Pandit? There is one famous saying where he says, whenever you do any austerity in life, you do that austerity alone. Let's say you do some vrata. Okay, these days people put everything in Facebook. Hi, I'm fasting. It defeats the purpose. Whenever you do any austerity, vrata, you do it alone, which means it has to be between you and Supreme Lord. Keep it like that. Whenever you study Shastra, you should do in twos, which means you can sit and read with someone, or you can read alone but then discuss with others. We can't learn everything by ourselves. Understand? You can attend a class like that. So studying Shastra, you do in twos. Whenever you do Kirtana, you do in threes. Sometimes I wonder why three. Then I realized one for harmonium, one for mridanga, one for kartal. Chanakya Pandit says, whenever you do Kirtan, you do in threes, and whenever you travel in fours. Why four? Let's say if only three people go. Two people gang up together, in those days, they may kill the third person very easily. Seriously. If you go four, chances are more that they'll become pairs. For three people to come together, whenever you see there's three people, there'll be a clash. So chances are more that it'll be two pairs. But most important thing is practicing bhakti, studying Shastra, you always do together. Alone, it's very difficult. Along with the others, sometimes you have this experience, right? Like, whenever you, let's say, any guest visits your home, you'll tidy up your room, you make everything in a best presentable manner. You keep it. Likewise, if you go to attend somebody's home program or home party, you will sit there and you'll be very well dressed and you will put the best possible behavior for others to see, correct? So as long as we are with others, we always bring the best out of ourselves, correct? So if we always need to remain best, what should we do? Be with others all the time. But be with other bhaktas. Be with other devotees. So bhakti alone, if we think, it looks like a very big uphill task. But if we are with others, then following bhakti is very easy. So what we do here as part of these courses is we come together once a week and we read the shastras together. We come together once a week and we share whatever questions that we may have. Take some inspiration, and then when we are alone, we actually practice japa. I'll tell you a story about the power of holy name. Once, what is Mother Sita's father's name? Louder. Janaka Maharaj. Once Janaka Maharaj goes to see Yamaraj. So when he goes to see Yamaraj, they both are friends, both are Mahajanas, they both talk Krishna Katha. So when Janaka Maharaj goes to see Yamaraj, they have nice Krishna Katha, talk about Krishna. And finally when the time comes for Janaka Maharaj to leave, at that time, the people who have been punished by Yamadutas, they complain to Janaka Maharaj, please do not leave us. Why? As long as you were here, even though they were trying to inflict us pain, we didn't feel any pain at all. Because of your purity, we are not feeling any pain, so please don't leave us. Janaka Maharaj says, all right, I'll just stay here. If my presence is gonna make you free from pain, immune to pain, I'm happy to be here. Now Yamaraj is in a fix because Yamaraj has Janaka Maharaj as his guest. He can't tell him go. He's saying I want to be here. And then Janaka Maharaj tells to Yamaraj, I want to be here. And then Yamaraj also feels bad to keep on holding his guest with him in his home because he also needs to go. He is also a king. So then Yamaraj comes and asks Janaka Maharaj, oh my dear friend, is there anything that I can actually do to lessen your burden? Then Janaka Maharaj says, well, you stop punishing them. Then Yamaraj says, no, that's not possible because they are all papis. They have done so much sin, so they have to be punished. I also follow the order of this universe, order of Supreme Lord Krishna. This is the rule I have to follow. This is my duty. But Yamaraj says, but there is one solution. Then he reminds Janaka Maharaj, you are a great devotee of Lord Ram. Every day you chant Lord Ram's name. If you give the benefit of chanting Lord Ram's name once on one of the mornings, remember morning chanting is very powerful. That alone is actually enough to liberate all of them to Vaikuntha. Then Janaka Maharaj says, no problem. Then he gives the benefit to them right in front of him. All of them, they get liberated and they go back to spiritual world. The power of the holy name is like that. There is one other story that's given in the Puranas about a brother of a devotee who somehow developed some anger towards Supreme Lord. He would chant anyone's name but Vishnu's name. So one day this devotee goes to Narada Muni and he says, look, my brother is like this, please do something. Narada Muni comes and he tells him, please chant Vishnu's name. As soon as this person hears the name Vishnu, he gets ready to attack Narada Muni. How dare you say that to me? Narada Muni, using his potency, he levitates. He floats in the air and he tells him, I didn't expect any better response from you. Just remember this. A time will come when you will die. At that time, whoever comes to greet you, just ask them this one question. When I told you to chant Vishnu's name, you said, how dare you ask me to chant Vishnu's name? So you have said Vishnu's name once. So you just ask them, I have chanted Vishnu's name once. What is the benefit of that? So time rolls by, Narada Muni goes, time rolls by, this person becomes old. Finally, guess who comes to greet him? Our friends Yamadutas. The messengers of God of death. They come. So when they come, at that time, this person gets scared because they are not very handsome looking people. Disfigured. They have their famous nose, whips, everything. When they come to arrest his soul, at that time, feeling so scared, he remembers Narada Muni's advice and he asks them, wait a minute, I got a question. They say like, no problem, first we'll arrest you and then you can ask the question to our master. He said like, no, first answer my question. What is the benefit of chanting Vishnu's name once? Tough question, they didn't know the answer. Then they said, we don't know, you come, we'll take you to our master, he'll be able to answer. They take him to Yamaraj, Yamaraj didn't know the answer. And Yamaraj says, wait, we got a problem, there's a situation here. Let me go and ask Indra. Then he goes and asks Indra. Indra means king. Again, it's a position. Devendra means king of Devas. That's why it's known as Devendra. But that position can be held by any jiva. As I said, one of the possibilities for humans is, one of us, if you accrue enough pious credit, then you can become next Indra. But the problem is, demons will come and attack you. You understand? Terms and conditions apply. So that's not something to desire for. So in this case, he didn't know the answer. He says, let's go and ask Devendra. They go to Indra. Indra didn't know the answer. Then he says, let's go to Devadidev, which is Lord Shiva. Remember, demigod's position anybody can occupy. Shiva's position nobody can occupy. Okay, Shiva is in his own category. There is only one Shiva all the time. Sometimes I see in YouTube videos, there is some misinformation that's going. You can become Shiva. Shiva is nothing. Who said Shiva is nothing? Try saying that to his Trishul. Maya means nothing. Shiva means most auspicious. Okay, you can look at any Sanskrit dictionary. It will tell you Shiva means auspicious. Mangala. You chant Shiva's name, you will get auspiciousness. You chant Krishna's name, you will get something even more than auspiciousness. Okay, Shiva means auspicious, not nothing. That's a very wrong interpretation of that word. Maya means nothing. That's given. So they go to Shiva. Shiva also says, sorry, I also don't know. What's the benefit of chanting Vishnu's name once? Then they say, okay, let's go to the secondary creator, which is Lord Brahma. So they take him, all three of these gods, plus that particular person, all four of them go. Much to their surprise, Brahma also says, even I don't know the value of chanting Vishnu's name once. Then finally they discuss and they say, all right, look, you asked us a question for which we don't have an answer. To be honest with you, the only person who can answer the value of chanting or the benefit of chanting Vishnu's name once is Vishnu himself. So let's go and check with him. As soon as this person hears Vishnu's name, guess what his response was? What Vishnu? He was closing his ears. I don't want to hear that name. Then they tell him, look, we can't just arbitrarily punish you. We also follow certain norms. Until we check what response we should give you, we can't punish you and we can't keep you in a limbo either. So finally they plead him. And then again he was not agreeing. Then they make one palanquin, nice palanquin, and they tell him, look, you don't need to do anything. Just get on board and just sleep inside, we'll carry you. Then that's all he does. He goes inside and all of them carry him to Vaikuntha. They put him just outside Vaikuntha, door of Vaikuntha. We see Jai Vijay here. So there is Jai Vijay outside there also. So they put him in palanquin. This guy is still having a nice time, in palanquin, sleeping. And they both, all four of them go and they ask this question to Lord Vishnu. My Lord, we got a case here. One person has chanted your name once and he's asking us a very tough question. We don't know the answer. And then Vishnu responds. He tells him, you see, Yamaraj, he is Lord of Death. He is also one of the Mahajana. Indra, to come to the position of Indra, one has to do 100 Ashwamedha sacrifice. By the way, didn't I tell you to become Indra, terms and conditions apply? These days you don't even know what you get in the name of ghee. To do 100 Ashwamedha sacrifice, forget it. Becoming Indra is practically next to impossible. Then he says, you are Indra, king of all demigods. You are Yamaraj, you are lord of death. You are Shiva, you are Devadidev, lord of all lords. And you are Brahma, the first created being in this universe. All four of you have carried a person who was totally sinful, who was destined to be punished in hell for a long time. You have put him on a chariot or put him on a palanquin. All four of you have carried all the way to Vaikuntha. Don't you still realize the value of chanting my name once? This is the power of chanting the holy name. Now we know the glories of the holy name, but to get into the habit of chanting every day, we need association. That's why we encourage you to join. We have more than 110 groups now spread across more than 40 suburbs across Sydney. You can sign up, you can attend our classes online. We have online classes as well. We don't charge you anything. It doesn't cost you anything to chant the mantra. You don't need to be qualified. You don't need to be a Sanskrit Pandit. Simply if we chant this Maha Mantra, it has got 3 names in it. Hare, Krishna and Rama. Hare refers to Srimati Radharani. Krishna is Krishna. And Rama, you know who he is. Krishna's another name is also Rama. Rama means one who gives pleasure to everyone. Krishna means one who is the most attractive. Hare means the spiritual energy of Krishna. That represents Srimati Radharani. So this mantra has got only 3 names in it. Simply by chanting this name, simply by making it as our regular practice, we can go to the 4th possibility, which is not to take birth as a human, not to take birth. That's the first option. Second option is not to take birth in animal life, not to take birth even as a demigod. None of the above. Instead, we want the 4th option, which is stop the cycle of birth and death and go back to the spiritual world. And how do we do that? Simply by chanting this holy name. And when you go out, you can meet Shubha Krishna Prabhu. May I request you to please stand up, Prabhuji. You will see Prabhu in our registration table. Prabhu is leading our bhakti courses, so you can give your name to him and he will, you can be seated, Prabhu. Prabhu will actually invite you to join one of the online classes or any classes that happens in your suburb. You name the suburb, we have you covered. Even if you don't have a class there, we will start one in your home, don't worry. Okay, so it doesn't cost you anything, but simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, you can invoke everything auspicious in your life. And at the end of this life, you can go back to spiritual world. We have 2 minutes, I'll finish one quick thing. Prabhupada says, once one disciple asks Prabhupada, we are chanting Krishna's name, what if there is no such person called Krishna? Prabhupada says something interesting. Prabhupada says, alright, let's play devil's advocate, there is nobody called Krishna. Still, what's the problem? You still come once a week to the temple, still once a week you be in satsang, take prasad, chant his name, have a good time. At the end of the life, you will get the same result as whatever everyone else is getting. Correct? So what's the loss? But Prabhupada says, but devil's advocate means there is a second possibility, right? What if there is a person called Krishna? What if chanting his name is actually purifying you? And what if there is a place called Goloka Vrindavana in Vaikuntha? Then Prabhupada says, then whoever chanted will go to Vaikuntha, all of the rest of people will go to hell. So keep this in mind, and we want to make the best possible use of our human life. We can have our job, we can have a mortgage, we can have a family, let everything continue as it is. All we have to do is add Krishna in whatever that we do. That's all we have to do. So thank you very much for your kind attention. As we said, we still have 6 more days for Kartik month. This is a very good time for you to register, do anything spiritual. And today we will be giving all of you opportunity, and we will continue to give that opportunity until next Saturday. Every evening, starting at 7 o'clock till 7:45, you will be given a lamp free of cost. You can just line up here. You see the table actually being prepared there. line up, you come, you will be given a lamp, you can come and offer the lamp to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath and Yashoda Damodar there. And you can place the lamp on that table. Okay, and we'll be serving you feast as well. You are welcome to participate in the Arati, Kirtan, and honor the feast. We have Sunday feast program every Sunday. We welcome you all to please keep coming. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.